Hola a todos, ¿cómo estáis? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Miss Harmony's Spanish, the podcast that takes you on a journey to learn Spanish step by step. I'm your host Harmony, and today we have a special treat for all of our beginners out there. If you remember back to episode 1, we learned how to say hello in various ways, and today we're diving into the art of greetings and being able to ask how are you in Spanish. Plus, we're going to throw a couple of extra phrases in to supercharge your learning. So if you're ready, then I'm ready, and let's get started. Vamos! Now, chicos, I want you to picture this. You are sipping a delicious café con leche in a charming, quiet, Spanish-speaking town. There's nobody else around you that speaks English, and you want to connect with the locals, or at least just one of them. But where do you begin? Well, it starts with a warm and friendly greeting. Now let's start it off with the most common way to ask somebody how they're doing. ¿Cómo estás? Break it down. ¿Cómo estás? So repeat after me whenever you're ready, chicos. ¿Cómo estás? Fantástico, chicos. Now let's break it down and let's translate it into English in a way that makes sense. ¿Cómo literally means how, and it's one of your question words in English. And estás is you are or are you in some cases, depending on what you're trying to say. When you put them together, ¿cómo and estás, you get ¿cómo estás? Now, that literally means how are you or how you are, depending on how you want to look at it, but that is the most common way you would ask somebody. ¿Cómo estás? Seems pretty straightforward, right? Now, I would say ¿cómo estás is probably the most universal phrase you will use when asking somebody how you are, or how they are, I should say. And that's because it's probably going to be used in most, if not all, Spanish-speaking countries. So regardless of whether you speak Spain Spanish or Latin American Spanish, you'll probably get away with it everywhere. But there is another phrase that you can use. This is a bit more informal, so please judge your scenario for yourself whether you may be able to get away with this. And it is ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Okay? And it literally means how's it going? What's up? It's very versatile and it's very easygoing as well. So whenever you're ready, repeat after me. ¿Qué tal? Muy bien. Okay, so this phrase fits seamlessly into different contexts. Now, let's delve into some common responses that you might hear or use when somebody asks how you are doing, or whether you are asking them how they're doing. I would say the most common and simplest form of responding is the word bien, which means well or good, depending on the context. Okay, so when somebody says to you, ¿cómo estás? Or you say, ¿cómo estás? And the reply is bien, it means I'm good. Or bien, gracias, I'm good, thank you. So whenever you're ready, repeat after me. Bien. Muy bien, chicos. Muy bien. Now, if you're feeling especially great that day, you can elevate a notch and literally say, muy bien. Now that word muy is something I've noticed a lot of students struggle with pronouncing. When you hear it, it's quite simple, but when you see it written, a lot of English native speakers do get confused with the pronunciation. Now it's spelled M-U-Y, and in our English brains we want to pronounce it as muy, and that's just the way we know the letter U is pronounced, like a U sound. Whereas in Spanish it's slightly different, so it's not muy, it's just muy. Pronounce it as like an M-W-E-E perhaps, or M-W-Y, muy, okay? So you would stick that before the bien to say muy bien, and that means very good or very well or whatever, okay? So it elevates it up just a notch, and it just makes it a bit more versatile than just saying bien, gracias all the time. So whenever you're ready, try it out. Muy bien. Excelente, chicos. But what about if you're having a rough day? Easy peasy, you simply say mal. M-A-L, mal, which means bad. So, whenever you're ready, repeat after me. Mal. Genial. And for those in between days, you can express yourself with something easy like regular, which is just regular, or so-so, or it's alright, you know. Same thing, different day, regular. It's literally spelt the same way we would spell regular, so that makes it slightly easier. It's just with a Spanish accent. So not regular, you would pronounce it as regular, regular. So whenever you're ready, guys, repeat after me, regular. Muy bien, amigos. Now, I know it might seem like I'm giving you a lot of information, but you are making incredible strides over the last 2 episodes. So how about we spice it up a little bit further? When somebody asks you what's up or ¿qué tal?, you can respond with nada y tú. Nada y tú. That means nothing and you. So nada, N-A-D-A, nada, nothing. Y tú, which is spelled Y for the word and in Spanish. Tú as in you. So nada y tú, nothing and you. And that's a polite way of saying, I'm not doing anything, what about you? So remember that y tú. It's not very polite if somebody says to you, ¿Cómo estás? You reply, bien, gracias, and then don't ask them how they are. So remember to reply, y tú, and you, how are you? Okay, so whenever you're ready, repeat after me. Nada y tú. Excelente, chicos, gracias. This laid back phrase does add a little bit of flair to your interactions. It makes you sound a bit more native and a bit more comfortable with the language, so that's always a great start. And guess what? We're not quite done yet either. Another great phrase, a bit like ¿qué tal?, to add to your repertoire is ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? This is a phrase that's similar to ¿qué tal?, where it sort of means what's up, what's happening, and it's quite a laid back phrase. So whenever you're ready, repeat after me. ¿Qué pasa? Estupendo, chicos, gracias. So this phrase is perfect for talking to friends or having casual chats, okay? So just be careful of who you're using it with, because respect and the language changes with certain respects to other people. But I would use this in a very informal, very casual setting. So it's always great to know ¿qué tal? And ¿qué pasa? And have ¿cómo estás? As a backup. Okay, so let's get a bit of practice in now. And let's practice our new phrases in a short dialogue. Now, picture this. You've just met a new friend at the cafe you're having your café con leche at, and we're going to have a conversation. Well, I'm going to have a conversation with myself, and I'll play both parts, and what I'll do is I will leave a pause after I've said a phrase or a line, and you can repeat it after me. So I will say it, and then there'll be a pause for you to repeat. Okay, so as the new friend, I would start off by saying, Hola, ¿qué tal? Hola, muy bien. ¿Y tú? También estoy bien, gracias. ¿Qué pasa? Nada. ¿Y tú? Fantástico, chicos. You are doing exceptionally well. Now, I don't know whether you noticed, but on one of the lines I've just done, I said, También estoy bien, gracias. Now, the word también means also. So you would say estoy bien, which means I am good, or just bien is fine if you're not comfortable with using the verbs just yet. We will get to it. So you can just get away with bien, gracias. But estoy bien means I am good. And también estoy bien, also I am good, gracias. And there you have it, amigos. We've covered the essentials of greetings and asking how are you in Spanish, plus a couple of extra phrases to keep conversations vibrant and engaging. So practice these in your daily interactions if you have the time, and you'll be speaking Spanish like a pro in no time. That brings us to the end of this episode of Miss Harmony Spanish. Remember, language learning is a journey, so enjoy every step of it, and don't overwhelm yourself with taking in too much too soon. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you have the time, and share this podcast with your fellow language learners. So, gracias for tuning in. And until next time, keep learning, stay curious, and let the beauty of the Spanish language enrich your life. Hasta luego. Adiós.